The story begins with a beautiful young fashion journalist, Lane, who works for a small magazine in New York. Lane aspires to write for Cosmopolitan magazine. Besides that, she is seeking the right partner with a long list of requirements, and none of the guys match her criteria till now. Lane meets her best friend Joanne, a well-known fashion photographer. Joanne told her she had scheduled a meeting with Cosmopolitan's editor the following day. Jane is overjoyed after receiving the fantastic news. The next morning, Jane eagerly rushes to the Cosmo office to meet with Kate, the editor. Lane proposes a few suggestions, but Kate finds them uninteresting. Lane tried hard to persuade her, but Kate answered, "Better luck next time." Lane says she'll go home and cuddle up with her fictitious partner on the way out, despite not locating a person with 2 items on her checklist. Kate retorted that she, too, had a checklist. Every year, she crosses something off the list. Before long, the list will be just a blank piece of paper. Kate goes on to suggest that the majority of eligible men are hiding out in downtown business offices. Lane promptly comes up with a brilliant idea to write an article about finding love in the business world. Kate loved the idea and gave a green signal to write about it. Kate proceeds by saying that in order to gather information for the article, she needs to get a job and work as a covert agent in a large corporation.
Magic Man. It's gonna be a great story.
The following morning, Lane went to Thomson Fulworth for the interview. The HR manager introduces Lane to the young and charming managing director Tom, who conducts her interview. Lane prepared an eye-catching resume and exaggerated her linguistic and software skills. On the other hand, Lane nailed the interview with her knowledge and charisma. Tom was thrilled with her wisdom and offered her a salary of $42,000 per year.
Not so fast, we still need to get you tested on the software.
She knows nothing about software, and the test will be a nightmare. Lane is so naive to ask the opposing candidate for assistance. She most certainly won't assist her. Lane didn't want to miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so she dragged the power extension near the computer table and coughed loudly. She grabs the water and deliberately spills it on the power extension, causing the entire workplace to go dark. The HR manager then questioned her if she was completely trained in the essential software.
Deal Reporter is my middle name.
Okay.
Yay! Mission accomplished. She did a party with her friends in the evening. However, Lane is confused about how she will survive in the financial institution because she knows nothing about the financial world. Joanne gave her some tips and presented her with a gift for acquiring a new job. Lane arrives at work the following morning and is delighted to see so many men in suits. Tom shows her around. During the tour, Lane remarks that he is wearing the same shirt he wore on her interview day. Tom reminds her that he owns 6 identical shirts. After the tour, Tom hands over the standard operating procedure manual and hand signals sheet to make work easier and faster. Lane assures him that she will rapidly learn these signals. Lane and Tom then go to the office cafeteria for lunch, where Lane discovers that Tom has the same lunch daily and eats in his office since it is more efficient. After that, the copier malfunctions as Lane is producing copies. Right then, Seth, who is both attractive and pleasant, arrives to assist her. Lane is delighted to see him because he is adorable, modest, and fashionable.
This never happened.
I saw nothing.
Lane instantly captures everyone's attention because she is the most beautiful female in the office with a good fashion sense. Lane then makes a list of potential cute guys in pursuit of her perfect man. Meanwhile, Tom introduces Lane to Whitney, his girlfriend.
Eek! Dragon nails! Ugh! Bird grip.
The following day, Tom awarded Lane the nickname of Fab because he realized she adored fashion. She paid little attention to the work. Her only priorities are finding her Prince Charming and writing the story for Cosmopolitan magazine. Lane misinterprets the signal when Tom asks her to return the call. She stands up and spins.
No, that means return the call.
Lane then encounters various potential suitors. She goes on a series of dates, each time assessing whether the man possesses the qualities she seeks. She experiences awkward encounters, funny mishaps, and sometimes disappointment while navigating the right one. The following day, Lane goes to Seth's room to say hello. Seth misunderstands that she is here to seek his help fixing the copier again. Lane responds no and gives him some signals. Finally, Seth understands and asks her out for drinks.
I thought you'd never ask.
That night, Lane and Joanne go out for drinks at a bar. Lane states she will have supper with Seth on Thursday. Lane further says she is convinced Seth will fit into her checklist. While talking, Lane accidentally spilled her drink on the stranger. The stranger turns out to have a terrific sense of humor, a gorgeous accent, and is also quite attractive. He introduces himself as Liam and invites them to join him for a drink. Lane had already fallen for him, so she cut her friend off and informed Liam that Joanne had gotten engaged. Lane quickly accepted Liam's invitation to supper the following Thursday. A few days later, she joins Liam for supper. He claims he runs a music production company in the UK and is a music producer. Liam also shares her eating preferences, and he is ticking off her list of requirements one by one. Lane, on the other hand, is unaware of his situation. He's a waiter, and another is helping him pull off his scam. In the end, the unfortunate girl had a great time with him. Lane immediately dashes over to Joanne's studio to change clothes. When she meets Seth, she finds him uninteresting compared to Liam, who always surprises her. Seth asserted that he had a great time with her, but Lane didn't feel the same way. The following morning at the meeting, Tom yells at Lane because she lied about speaking French, typing 120 words per minute, and having a photographic memory.
Are you firing me?
I'm giving you a warning.
Lane is obsessed with Liam and always thinks about him. She chooses to twist the narrative and present her resignation at Tom's table due to Liam's negative influence on her. Lane dashes to Cosmo's office to alert Kate about her fresh concept. Kate reminds her that this isn't a college paper or a lousy blog where she is free to write whatever she wants. Kate further states that this is a cover story for Cosmo, and Liam is a distraction for her work, so stop seeing him immediately. Furthermore, she only has 2 weeks to write her narrative about finding love in the business world. Lane promptly heads to the office to tear her resignation letter before Tom reads it. Fortunately, she reached on time and destroyed the paper, but Tom caught her in his room, claiming she was there to turn off the office lamp. That evening Lane couldn't control her emotion and met Liam again. She believes that he is her Prince Charming. On the other hand, Liam is making a fool of her by sharing his heartbreaking tales. Lane believes him mindlessly. They then went to her place to burn some calories. The following evening, Lane encounters Tom in the supermarket.
Trying on a new fall color ab fab?
Tom?
When she wonders what he's doing here, Tom says he's just passing through and getting some snacks. Lane is surprised to see him dressed differently and extends an offer of a snack to him. Tom declines the offer since he is pretty careful about his nutrition. Meanwhile, her friend approaches and compliments that Tom is adorable. The next day, she met with Kate to give her an update on the situation. So far, Kate finds Seth interesting in all of them. As a result, Kate directed her to go out with Seth one more time. After that, Lane joined Seth for lunch. During lunch, Seth was the only one talking, and Lane was bored and preoccupied with thoughts of Liam. She received the cheater's message unexpectedly, and her expression brightened as she read it. Lane immediately gives the poor excuse that a friend of hers requires assistance. Seth, being a gentleman, urges her to go directly, and Lane departs. Lane has another illogical idea. To trick Kate, she will date Liam and write about him under Seth's identity. Lane then suggests to Tom that adding visuals to the presentation will make it more impactful and interesting. Tom accepts her suggestion and gives her the graphic responsibility for the presentation. Lane put in a lot of effort and stayed late at the office to finish the presentation's graphic. The following morning, while Lane is printing the paragraphs for her article, Tom interrupts her and says he likes the notion of her recycling paper. Lane responds that this will reduce significant office expenses and be beneficial to the environment. Tom replies that he has no control over it. He then asks her to accompany him shopping because Lane has an excellent sense of fashion.
Would Whitney be okay with that?
Whitney, we broke up.
They go shopping for new outfits and shoes for Tom. They both have a nice time there.
I think you look really nice.
I guess I should thank you.
Lane went to the printer to pick up mock-ups, while Tom returned to the office and picked up the prints Lane had earlier abandoned. Tom read the entire tale, which enraged him greatly. Lane is horrified to learn that Tom has read the whole piece when she returns to the workplace. Meanwhile, Seth barged into Tom's room, prompting Tom to shout at him. Lane claims that it is a Cosmopolitan magazine article and cover story.
I'll just be in my office.
You're staying right here, Seth.
Good idea.
It wasn't Seth, according to Lane. She basically made it up for the sake of writing a story. Tom claimed she routinely lies to him. Rather than concentrating on her work, she dated her coworkers. He is furious because he cares passionately for her. Lane said she put a lot of effort into becoming a competent assistant. In addition, she poured her heart into creating the presentation's graphics before storming out of the office. That evening, Lane was having a bad day due to her job loss. She called Liam to meet up, but the con man said he was away taking care of some business in London. He'll see her soon after he returns from London. Lane and Joanne went to the restaurant where she and Liam had dinner. What a stroke of fate. Lane discovers Liam works as a waiter there. Liam and his pal are deceiving another girl in the same space. Lane quickly confronts them and protects a helpless girl from these crooks. Before leaving the restaurant, Joanne and Lane splash water on Liam to punish him for messing with her emotions. The following morning, Tom calls Lane to inquire where she is, and he needs visuals for the presentation. Lane thought he had fired her.
This isn't the 7th grade, it's investment banking. Now get me those boards. yours.
Lane arrived in the middle of a presentation a bit late. They demonstrated it to them visually. The employer appreciates the graphics but is dissatisfied with the economic growth. Because he considered the department a significant liability that needed to be eliminated, he decided to close it. Lane prodded Tom to share his suggestion of becoming green to save money. She persuades him that now is the appropriate time to speak. Mr. Belmont approved of the suggestion that Tom made. Tom's excellent proposal saved not only a lot of people's employment, but also millions for the business. Everyone congratulates him. Tom then sends her his best wishes for her peace.
Working in investment banking, I don't meet many women like you.
They bid each other farewell. Tom didn't say what needed to be stated. He kept his feelings to himself and let her depart. Lane learns important lessons about letting go of rigid expectations, embracing the unexpected, and following her heart rather than a checklist. Lane went back home to finish the story before sending it to Cosmos. That evening, Kate called Lane to instruct her to meet her tomorrow morning. Lane grew even more agitated because she believed she had wrecked the story. The following day, when she arrived at work, she was astonished to learn that Kate had praised the article and congratulated her for this fantastic piece. Kate then asks update on Tom and her. Lane said, "What about Tom? She never does the checklist on Tom." Kate and Lane completed the checklist for Tom, and he received no points.
Are you starting to see a pattern here? 0 out of a 10?
Lane realizes what Kate is attempting to accomplish here. She runs to the office and declares her love for him in front of the entire boardroom. Tom claims that he loves her as well. So that was Beauty and the Briefcase. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and turn on the notification so you won't miss the next recap. Until then, cheers.